week, protagonist. Had to throw on a shirt, pick up something, driving thoughts, but kind of reaction to some of the news, and I got something to say about the merger with Discovery. But it looks like HBO Max Cartoon Network is coming out there swinging for the fences, I guess. So, and I'll check out the statements and read it on the back half of this video, but basically, we're getting a new Batman show called Batman the Caped Crusader by Bruce Timm, Matt Reeves, and J.J. Abrams. I think that's an interesting combination. You got the classic guy who made one of the greatest cartoons of all time in Bruce Timm. You got Matt Reeves, who, to me, single-handedly made one of the best franchises through Planet of the Apes, made you care about the apes after, and yes, even with the after the Mark Wahlberg thing, and made this beautiful, wonderful trilogy. Who's now working on the Batman. So I think that's actually really interesting and smart, because he's doing the current tone of Batman. And J.J. Abrams, who's really good at kickstarting a lot of things off. I know people go, Jar Jar Abrams. Like, no. You just don't like his stuff. I think his Star Trek was good and everything else. I'm not saying he's perfect, and I can easily point out things that were bad. But people, I think, go a little overboard because they're kind of whiny about it. But JJ is really good at kicking off and starting off like franchises and kind of getting that idea ball rolling. So this is a good combination. They got the My Adventures with Superman, which looks like it's going to be Clark, from what I understand. He's going to be trying to... Oh, wait. The Batman one, it's supposed to be like a darker, grittier kind of story. HBO Max and Cartoon Network simultaneously. But it looks like they're going back to 2014 Cartoon Network, when they had, like, you know, Young Justice, Thundercats, things like that. You got like Steven Universe and Adventure Time and Regular Show, which are all good shows. Not heck, as a matter of fact, I love Regular Show, one of my favorite cartoons ever. But it looks like it's giving a certain type of tone with the Caped Crusader, where darker, you know, harder storytelling, detective stories. I'm assuming that Matt Reeves is probably going to really... Bruce Timm is probably going in the direction. Matt Reeves is going to be the story weaver, and JJ is going to be the one with the concept kind of thing. Like I said, I'll read some of their quotes afterwards. Then you got My Adventures with Superman, which has Black Jimmy Olsen again, redhead erasure. I guess their just whole thing is that, nah, we're just going to just shoehorn Jimmy Olsen to be black, instead of, you know, just putting in a black character. Like, maybe you could have added John Henry Irons. That'd have been cool. Or, you know, any other black character. Nah, let's just race swap the redhead. But it denied there's no such thing as redhead erasure in Hollywood. Anyway, outside of that, it looks fun. It looks quirky. From what I could read, it's like Superman in his beginning years trying to develop his identity, who he is as Superman, trying to be like who he is as a person, him establishing himself as Clark. Lois is taking Jimmy Olsen under her wing. Where you see them, it looks like they're going to be doing a lot of team-ups for antics, but it's Superman very early in his career. Looks very lighthearted. You'll see some of the imagery as I put them up. So far, I'm actually not mad about that. I think that's a very good idea. A good Batman series, a nice, dark, gritty Batman series, a lighthearted Superman series, since everyone can't handle Superman being even remotely dark half the time. Yeah. And looks like there's some information coming out that they're going to make an Injustice Gods Among Us movie, which I hope it's a two-parter at least. Injustice Gods Among Us is amazing. I would also like for them to do DC's Deceased and do a couple movies out of that. Not one, but like maybe 3. Like, I want some sequels in these pieces, you know? But yeah, I think that's really cool too. I think it's a great idea to do Injustice. Injustice is, to me, one of the best DC stories to come out in recent history. Puts DC with some value in this piece. So we have a 2-season order for My Adventures with Superman, which follows Clark as he builds his secret Superman identity and embraces his role as the hero of Metropolis, and perhaps the world. Lois, now growing into a star investigative journalist, takes aspiring photographer Jimmy Olsen under her wing. Of course, he's race swap redhead. All the while, Clark and Lois are falling in love, sharing adventures, taking down bad guys, stumbling over secrets, and discovering what it means to be Superman and Lois Lane. So it seems like there's this new trend now where they're putting the importance of who Lois Lane is to Superman and vice versa. I am actually not mad about that, because her journey as a whole, if you really think about it, she got her starring thing because of Superman. What she was able to write, what she was able to do. If you look at the image I have on screen, you can see it has that fun fluidity. Kind of reminds me of when they were doing those DC shorts, but like Superman Baby, a couple other ones where it was more of like, it kind of has that energetic feel to it, you know? And the guys, excuse me, who's been working on this, I know the guy who's playing Superman is the new guy from The Boys, the one that joins the group after his girlfriend gets ended. So this is from Sam Register. It's been a great partnership working with Cartoon Network and HBO Max to bring more DC superheroes to the platform in new and creatively interesting ways. This is the first animated Superman series in many years, and we want to tell our Superman story through the trio of Clark, Lois, and Jimmy, whose relationship dynamic will allow for rich, serialized, and engaging stories as we explore their lives as individuals and their journey together as friends. So they're really going to play up the whole thing that they're friends. Now, some people might find this weird, but like there was a stint in time to the point where he had his own comic book, Superman, Jimmy's Jimmy's pal Superman. They even did it a couple times, kind of joke back and forth in the cartoon shows, like the little shorts and stuff. They actually had a short about it. Jimmy Olsen is extremely important to Superman. Jimmy Olsen is Superman's best friend when he becomes an adult. And what I do hope we get out of this series is the fact that they really play that up, that they are truly all close friends. Because Smallville kind of did it too for a bit, but we do focus very, very heavily on Clark and Lois as of lately, and their relationship is like one of the best relationships you could see in comics. It's a very strong relationship. It's something about it is very completist. They're like, because it's a love story, and yeah, so that's how I view that myself personally. And it's already gotten a 2-season order, so there's that too. Now on to Batman, the Caped Crusader. And like I said, the Batman series is Bruce Timm, J.J. Abrams, and Matt Reeves, which is an interesting combination. And hey, they kind of scooped up JJ a while ago, so now it looks like they're finally utilizing him. Like I said, you can feel how you ever feel, but I don't think JJ ruins franchises. I think he actually has done a lot of great work throughout, whether I like all of it or not. He's at least a hitter. There's people who got eyes on Star Trek that normally wouldn't because of him, whether people like it or not, because I ran into a ton that were like, I actually like these movies. The big issue was that a lot of times is also the studios that kind of mess things up. People need to definitely understand that. So now, all three of these guys in a combined statement pretty much has said, from what I'm reading here, we are beyond excited to be working together to bring this character back, to tell engrossing new stories in Gotham City. The series will be thrilling, cinematic, and uh, evocative of Batman's noir roots. While diving deeper into the psychology of these iconic characters, we cannot wait to share this new world. Now, what I notice and what I have gleaned off of this statement: noir roots. Matt Reeves, the Batman, is going to be heavily into noir and a very strong detective story. So what it seems like I'm noticing what's happening is there is some, and they've been talking about this before, there seems to be some brand synergy that is starting to kind of kick up. So that is very interesting in itself, that the brand synergy is kind of coming there. Now, there is a statement from Tom Ashing, and he says, "It's always fun to feed the insatiable appetite fans have for all things Batman. Batman, Caped Crusader, will entertain first time and die-hard fans alike. And with such an impressive creative team in place, we know we have another future Batman classic in the making." Now, we did have a Batman series not too long ago, and probably some people are like, why can't they call this like the Batman like the movie? Well, we technically did have the Batman cartoon. We had Beware the Batman, and then the Batman anime series that, if I remember correctly, because I actually watched it, it had Katana as kind of like his Robin instead, and it was in the beginning of his career. It didn't go over very well. The animation was not bad. You did get to see some different elements to it. I saw the potential, especially when they did the towards the end of the season when they did the Outsiders. I was a little like surprised by that when they had like Man Bat, Metamorpho, Katana, some other stuff, and he was like, "Let's get started." And I'm like, "Okay." I actually was very curious by the end, towards the end of that series, to see what was next. There was good stuff in that series. A lot of people may not want to accept that. There was some good, but there was also certain things where it's like, okay, like it was a more involved Alfred, because Alfred looked like he was in like his 50s, so he could still kind of go. So I thought that was pretty cool. Like, if you guys want me to review that show, just let me know in the comments below. But anyway, back to the main. But when they're talking about future Batman classic, they're talking about like the cartoon, the animated series, how people speak to that to this day in reverence, how people want Batman Beyond back, Justice League Unlimited, like these groundbreaking series. There's been many Batman cartoons throughout the years, but some of them have, will, and pretty much always stand the test of time. Like I said, the Batman the Animated Series, Batman Beyond. They're trying to put this on that kind of level. Now you have Sam Register, who says Batman the Animated Series was a masterpiece that shaped the perception of the character for an entire generation of fans. It is in the spirit, oh, I'm sorry. It's in that spirit that we are bringing together three master storytellers in JJ, Matt, and Bruce, each with their own intuitive understanding and affection for the character, to create a new series that will continue in the same groundbreaking legacy. So, yeah, and don't get me wrong, I am still not happy about the JJ switching Superman to Clark Kent. Like I said, it's just, I don't think JJ, like, people swear everything he's ever done is bad, and that's just not true. That's just not. But this is an interesting dynamic of these three guys and what they can bring to the table. And what it seems like is happening, after my personal opinion, Cartoon Network kind of screwed over a lot of their good shows. They should have had more. He-Man, Thundercats come to mind. Not that piece of garbage dumpster fire slash should have been thrown into space and boom to the sun Thundercats roar garbage, but the actual Thundercats reboot series that was worth anything. And it looks like they're starting to finally get away from, I forgot what the name of those artists are that pretty much draw the same characters over and over again. Not still, once again, not saying all the shows are bad. Like Steven Universe was fine and stuff, but overall that the same thing I saw. You would see Gumball, even though Gumball had a different angle, and Gumball was I haven't finished that series or caught up in that series, but Gumball is actually enjoyable. Especially when you find out all the craziness and antics that are going on actually do have consequences. I thought that was actually really good because a lot of cartoons don't do that. But like they all have the same face. Like you look at Steven, you look at Gumball, you look at like regular show, and these different shows, Star and versus Horsey, like they all have that same kind of art style. It gets a little old. I know it's different channels, but I'm just saying because Disney had the other couple others. But what is happening, which I think is a smarter approach, is Cartoon Network is now sounds like they're making stuff for older audiences, kind of like Samurai Jack and Primal. I think what happened was that Primal and Samurai Jack, which I got to review Primal, was actually, because I finally finished it, more successful than they expected. So what they need to do is they need to diversify their portfolio. And I think this is the start to it. You got to have comedy, of course. You got to have stuff geared towards little kids, of course. But you got to have stuff geared towards older audiences, too. Like, my mom loved Teen Titans. The original Teen Titans. Not Teen Titans Go. Teen Titans Go is funny, but she likes the original Teen Titans. And it seems like so many cartoons, and it all started with SpongeBob. Yeah, come at me. I don't care. SpongeBob is stupid. It's just a Rocko's Modern Life on acid. Deal with it. Anyway, it all started with SpongeBob, where everyone started trying to make silly, ridiculously stupid cartoons. And it was like no longer these cool, epic adventures. And I think this is the best way to do. Those cartoons do have a place. They should have those. But they should also have the more serious cartoons. You saw how Young Justice, I like the Green Lantern show, like people fought like, yo, we want these cartoons. Because those, even though they're geared towards teenagers, adults like those cartoons too, because it's still seeing their cool heroes in action. And you don't need to make it rated R or something. Sometimes we just want to see really cool adventures with some serious tones to it. And sometimes you want some funny, but a little not silly. Like, you know, because sometimes they go to the borderline silly. Admittedly, Steven Universe was a perfect example of a balance. Yeah, there was some stuff in there that were issues with the fans, because fans are ridiculous, and that's just a fan problem that needs to calm down. But that's a different video altogether. If I ever decide to do that. But as a show, it had dark tones. There were things that were there, but yet it still balanced its comedy and fun stuff. Like, it had a balance between all that. And I think as a whole, that's how they should approach this. It's going to be on HBO Max and Cartoon Network. I don't think this is a bad idea. So beyond that, there's not a lot of information about the Injustice thing besides it's pretty much an announcement. Hopefully the Injustice one will be awesome, and hopefully it'll be like a longer thing. It's not like something small. I would really like for them to kind of make that into like a 3-parter. And Deceased, just saying. Geek Protagonist, you stay safe, you stay healthy, you stay real. And tell me what you guys think, and I'll see you.